All right, here we go. You can see the Marlins out on the field here at Dolphin Stadium. They'll be facing this Braves lineup. The Braves at 47 and 53. Brought to you by Toyota Trucks. Escobar, Blanco in center. Escobar at short. Can anybody get Chipper Jones out? Mark Teixeira at first base. He's been hot too. Brian McCann the catcher. Jeff Francoeur in right. Kelly Johnson's at second. Please welcome Omar Infante to the telecast as he makes a start out in left field, and Tim Hudson is in the 9 spot.
Rich, when you look at the numbers of some of the Atlanta Braves hitters against Ricky Nolasco, it's pretty scary. Chipper Jones 9 for 14 with 3 home runs against Ricky. He's 0-2 this year against Atlanta in 2 starts with an ERA over 11. That was early in the year. Since that time, Ricky has put a nice stretch together where he's been consistent and thrown the ball well. And I think it's an important outing for him, too, to come out and show that he can beat this Atlanta Braves team.
Defensively, Rico brings you the defense. Tommy, take a look at that outfield there. You got Gonzo, Ross, Hermida out in the outfield. Cantu, Ramirez, Ugla, and Jacobs on the infield. John Baker gets another start behind the plate. Hanley Ramirez, through 100 games, has played an awful lot of innings. 95% of those innings out at shortstop for the Marlins superstar. Here we go now. The Braves with Gregor Blanco, Escobar, and Chipper Jones facing Ricky Nolasco. Blanco's been in the leadoff spot all 3 nights, and Nolasco misses outside. Doug Eddings is calling balls and strikes. His counterparts last night, Lance Barksdale and then Dana DeMuth in the first night of this series, both had busy nights calling lots of strikes. That one pops out of the glove of Baker, and it's 2-0. There's a look at Eddings. These 2 teams in 2 games have combined for 8 runs and only 16 hits. The Braves have 4 runs, 10 hits. The Marlins 4 runs, 6 hits. Nolasco misses outside.
Amazingly, Bobby Cox's team last night with the 1 hit. It's the 2nd time in 11 games that they've had just a 1 hit in a game. July 9th in Los Angeles against the Dodgers.
Here's the 3-0, and Nolasco fires in a strike. As Tommy pointed out, the last start for Ricky against the Phils was a loss, but he pitched pretty well. 7 innings, 4 runs, 7 hits. He had won 5 straight before that start. That's a strike. And it's 3-2. Bobby Cox back in the managerial seat. He was back in the clubhouse last night serving a 1-game suspension. Chino Carahia ran the club, the bench coach for the Braves. Hey, there's a nice group out there in the picnic area, Tommy. They're all wearing red.
Yeah, got themselves a souvenir.
We know what that's all about out there in the picnic area. Keys Realty is out there. Line shot center field. And Cody will pick it up. Gregor Blanco has a leadoff single. Our weather report brought to you by Miccosukee Resort and Gaming. Come play our way. Aha. No birds, just a gator. 86 degrees. Partly cloudy, a little bit of a gentle breeze. And here's Escobar. Didn't play in the first game of this series. Played last night and went 0 for 4. Escobar, the young Cuban shortstop, just 25. Kind of a super sub last year with Edgar Renteria out there at short. And Ricky misses high. Hanley Ramirez has got some new leather.
Boy, that's a nice colorful glove for Hanley.
Breaking ball hit in the air to right field. Tracking it is Hermida, and Jerry makes the catch. Escobar is out number 1. Blanco bluffed from first base.
Yeah, you have speed at first. You want to make sure you make that catch with a little momentum going back to the infield, just in case Blanco was thinking about tagging up.
Okay, here's Chipper Jones. And Tommy, we have to crunch some numbers here because, as Marlin fans know, Chipper Jones just absolutely hammers the fish. He's the most dangerous opponent in Marlin history in terms of production and damage and homers and RBIs and all of that. But against Ricky Nolasco, especially this year, he's been incredible. 6 for 7 with 3 homers against Nolasco this season. That's pretty good.
The scary part about this lineup against Ricky's allowed 18 home runs on the year, 7 to the Atlanta Braves.
And that's in just what, 2 starts?
2 starts. They had that one start. They hit back-to-back home runs.
And really, that the second start that Nolasco made against the Braves was kind of the blip on the radar for Ricky ever since early May. It was a start in Atlanta where he lost the ball game 7-5, 5 2/3. Remember, he gave up runs late in that start. Marlins tried to keep him in there late. 12 hits, 7 runs, and 3 homers.
I think the good part about that, if you can find a good part about that, is that he bounced back. And after that start, he won 5 in a row.
Well, there's no doubt he's the ace of the staff. But you couldn't say that going into the month of May, because on May 9th, when he took the mound in Washington, he was 1-3 with an ERA over 5. Misses outside to Chipper. Since then, 9 wins and just 2 losses. And a big reason why the Marlins open play tied with the Mets, just a game behind the Phillies. 3-0 pitch misses outside, and Chipper Jones is walked. This was the only hit of the night last night for the Braves. It was in the 6th. It was Chipper Jones.
One of the few mistake pitches of the evening, a high fastball from Joe Nelson, 91 miles an hour, up and out over the strike zone.
Geico quote, as long as we win, I'll suck it up and give up the hit every game if that's what it takes. And moments ago, if you heard Josh Willingham all mic'd up, he was out talking to the Marlins, the relievers out in the outfield. And Joe Nelson said, you know, if I knew he was going to get a hit and that was going to be the only hit all night, I would have walked him. Good pitch and a pop-up. Cantu zigs and zags and makes the catch. In fact, Nelson said, if I'd have known that was going to be the only hit all night, I not only would have walked him, I would have walked everybody until they came out and got me. We will have Josh Willingham mic'd up throughout the night, but he was very entertaining during batting practice, talking to Luis Gonzalez, talking to Rick Vandenherk, asking him, what the heck were you doing walking the bases loaded last night? There's Hammer. And here's McCann. Breaking ball catches the corner. Brian McCann 1 for 5 in this series. He's hit a couple of home runs against Ricky Nolasco. And this is a tough trio in the Braves order. You get Chipper, Teixeira, McCann. And he gets a piece of that one. It's back at 0-2. The tough part for the Braves this year has been cobbling together offense outside of that trio. Getting production from the top of the order, getting production from the bottom of the order. They just haven't been able to get it. There's Blanco. Chipper's over at first. 0-2 pitch.
You know, you think about it, you have a trio of hitters, the one left-hander and McCann, and then the two switch hitters, Chipper Jones and Teixeira. That's tough for a right-handed hitter to go after.
Yeah.
No matter what their numbers are against that particular pitcher.
Yeah, and you know what? They're kind of immune to lefties and righties. They hit them all very well. Big breaking ball, big strike 3 called. Braves leave a couple here in the first. We got aces going tonight. Nolasco and Hudson.
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise.
And Birmingham.
Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte. And Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings Package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
During Toyota's Big One sales event, your chance to get a big deal on a 2008 Toyota Sequoia has never been better. Now get $5,000 cash back, or just announced, get 0% APR financing for 72 months on a new 08 Toyota Sequoia. That's $5,000 cash back, or 0% APR for 72 months. Think of all the big adventures you can have with the money you save. Come by now, because these offers absolutely end July 31st. Toyota, moving forward.
You gotta be here for Super Saturday, August 2nd, featuring a post-game concert with the Bengals, following a fireworks spectacular.
Walk like an Egyptian.
Come party at the Strike Zone. Get a Marlins car freshener and a Marlins inflatable guitar. Celebrate 80s night at the ballpark. Catch the Marlins versus the Rockies at 7:10. Marlins Super Saturday with the Bengals. Call 1-877-MARLINS today.
Florida Marlins Baseball está disponible en español vía Zap y es presentado por KFC.
All right, get your scorebooks out. Get your pencils ready. Here we go. Marlins lineup brought to you by Toyota Trucks. Hanley Ramirez at shortstop. Jeremy Hermida in right field. Jorge Cantu is at third base. Mike Jacobs last night, his 20th home run of the season. Dan Uggla's at second base. Gonzo's in the lineup. He's out in left. He's hitting 6th. Cody Ross is in center. John Baker's had a nice run behind the plate. He's hitting 8th. And Ricky Nolasco is in the 9th spot.
Yeah, there's a good look at the 33-year-old veteran who has pitched, by the way, much better at home. Good command. Everything goes downward, and a quick move to first base. Look out if you're a base runner over there.
Hanley goes on the first pitch and drives it into left center field. Racing around first. Blanco up with the ball. Flips it to the left fielder Infante, and there's no way they'll get Hanley, who's already at second base.
Rich, last night, Hanley Ramirez, yes, he's been struggling, but you can see little signs. Last night, remember, he hit that shot up the middle that hit the pitcher's mound, carried over to second. There's a sinker that didn't sink. His last time up against Soriano, he took a pitch up the middle for a base hit. Goes up the middle this time, hit it so hard, it's our Checkers double of the game because it got into left center.
It's a new Checkers record. One pitch, one Checkers double of the game. Here's Hermida. Jeremy takes a strike on the outside corner. Hermida 1 for 9 in his career against Hudson. Tim Hudson's been a durable and effective starter. This is his 303rd career start. See Jeremy's numbers. A couple of homers in the Phillies series.
Good job.
And he pulls it to the right side. Nicely done. Hanley moves up. And the Marlins are set up now for Jorge Cantu, with Hanley Ramirez waiting 90 feet away.
Nicely done by Jeremy Hermida as we check in on the Braves defensively, brought to you by Rico. Outstanding fielder. Tim Hudson, very good as far as his defense is concerned. Omar Infante, Blanco, and Frank Coeur in the outfield. Chipper Jones, Escobar, Kelly Johnson, and Mark Teixeira around the infield with McCann behind the plate. That was a battle for Jeremy Hermida because Hudson knew what he was trying to do, so he was trying to sink everything away.
Cantu fouls it at the plate. And it's 0-1. Looks like Dan Uggla's got a new do. Trying to shake things up. Marlins would love to get him to the plate here in the first. With Hanley at third, 1 out. And Cantu waiting on an 0-1 pitch. It's interesting infield alignment. The right side of the infield has crept in. Left side is deep. And Hudson buries that breaking ball outside. It's 0-2.
What they're saying is if Cantu happens to be late on a pitch or maybe get a pitch out over the plate and goes the other way, if he hits to the right side, the Braves are going to come to the plate. To the left side, Hanley will score.
0-2. He got him. Cantu goes down, and Hudson gets his second out.
You know, you talk about his sinker, but he has a very good slider. He'll use a splitter to left-handers. There's the slider down and away, and he gets Cantu to chase it. You know what? I don't think I could think of anybody else I'd rather have up in that situation. Hudson just made a good pitch.
Now here's Jacobs. Sometimes there are guys like Jacobs and people say, well, he can get in those streaks where it's all or nothing. And last night, certainly it was all. A 3-run homer, a big blow in the 4-0 win over the Braves. Against Hudson, it's been all or nothing. Jacobs against Hudson is 3 for 22 and a couple of home runs. So he's homered against him. In fact, he homered against him this year.
Well, look at Kelly Johnson, the second baseman.
Hudson buries that one inside. Changeup that was left out over the plate, and Jacobs jumped on it.
Yeah, you could see McCann on that pitch. He was set up outside. That's where it was supposed to be, and it stayed middle in. If anything, a little more in, and Jake took it out.
And the Marlins, a team that have thrived on the big home run, whether it's late in the ball game or early in the ball game. Thankfully, they don't have to face that guy in this series. And John Smoltz out for the rest of the year. The Marlins saw him. They were the last team to see him. Remember when Smoltz tried to make his return from the bullpen, and the Marlins faced him in Atlanta. He had never blown a save against the Marlins in his career, and he did that night.
I think he had been 20 for 20 in saves.
He had a major shoulder surgery. The next morning, a press conference in Atlanta to announce that he would have that surgery. The 2-1 pitch. Jacobs pulls it on the ground. Teixeira has plenty of time, and Hudson pitches out of trouble in the first. We're scoreless, just like we were last night.
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise.
And Birmingham.
Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte. And Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings Package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
Exceptionally brewed for a taste that's pure Amsterdam. Amstel Light, one damn good beer.
When this restaurant wanted to add on to their benefits package to help attract new employees, they knew exactly who to have at the table. Find out more at forbusiness.com.
This is the Summer Cash Inning, brought to you by the Florida Lottery. Every Wednesday, someone will win $250,000, gas for a year, or gas for life. Ask for Summer Cash. Play today. Listen for this sound at the terminal.
You're a Summer Cash winner.
And you could be an instant winner. Jeff Francoeur takes outside from Ricky Nolasco. Kelly Johnson, Omar Infante will come up. Francoeur really having a subpar season by the standards that he set early in his career. And he was hacking last night. He went after some high fastballs from Rick Vandenherk and struck out twice early in the ball game. You can see the year ago today, the bottom of your screen. He really changed his offseason routine, Tommy. He got heavy into the weights. He actually lifted weights with a lot of football players, feeling that he wanted to hit more home runs, much like he did 2 years ago.
Yeah, that hasn't translated into power.
No. Fastballs, man. Fastballs up. He just can't catch up to him right now.
We saw Rick Vandenherk exploit Francoeur the same way. Watch how Ricky Nolasco does. Starts him off slider and misses. Gets him to chase. Fastball up. Let's go a little bit higher. And he goes upstairs, and Francoeur can't get it.
Here is Kelly Johnson. Ricky fires a fastball in the outside corner. As good an athlete as Francoeur is, and he was offered a scholarship to play defensive back, I believe, at Clemson University, and a Gold Glove right fielder. You expect that this year is going to be an anomaly on the back of his baseball card or his career statistics.
I would expect that. I know Braves fans hope that. How about those pitches to Kelly Johnson?
How about 3 consecutive strikeouts from Ricky Nolasco?
You know, just a little teeter-totter in that first inning, and all of a sudden he has come back with some beautiful pitches. Fastball away, look like cutter or slider, and then freezes him fastball away. Kelly Johnson knew it.
The colorful shoes of Omar Infante. He goes after a fastball and fouls it back. Infante off the disabled list yesterday. Brent Lillibridge, who started at shortstop in game 1 of the series, sent down yesterday.
Actually, with Infante in there, it gives Mark Kotze a night off.
Chopper out to Hanley with his new glove, fires across. 1-2-3. Nolasco finishes the Braves in the second.
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise.
And Birmingham.
Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte and Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings Package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
Toyota's Big One sales event just announced. Get 0% APR financing for 72 months on new 08 Tundra models, or $7,000 in total savings on a new 08 Tundra Double Cab SR5. That's right. Get Motor Trend's 2008 Truck of the Year for 0% APR for 72 months, or $7,000 in total savings. But this big deal won't be here forever. These offers absolutely end July 31st. Toyota, moving trucks forward.
What your engine feels, you feel. And when it's running clean, you feel it. Which is why we developed full synthetic Pennzoil Platinum with active cleansing agents to clean out up to 46% of sludge in the first oil change. That's 3 times better than the leading conventional oil. Pennzoil Platinum Motor Oil. Our ultimate clean for your ultimate feeling. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Florida Marlins and may not be reproduced in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Florida Marlins.
Scoreless ball game here at Dolphin Stadium. The Marlins and the Braves in the bottom of the second. Of course, last night at the end of the night, there's Popeye with his can of spinach. And the Uglies are out here tonight. And their man Dan is leading it off.
Popeye forearms, Dan Ugla forearms. Very similar.
He does not have the anchor tattoo, the sailor tattoos.
I don't know if I've seen Dan pop open a can of spinach either.
Breaking ball misses outside. Last night, Tommy, we were watching with a little anticipation to see what would happen with the Mets and the Phillies game. The Mets going into the ninth had a nice 5-2 lead. Looked like they were going to put the finishing touches on that. Douglas pulls it foul, and of course the bottom fell out. Everything collapsed, and the Phillies came roaring back. Big hits by So Taguchi and Jimmy Rollins in that ninth inning.
Made for some interesting stuff, I'm sure, in the New York Post and Daily News and Mike and the Mad Dog.
A lot of angst, much like the Marlins saw when they finished the regular season in 2007. Here's the 1-1, but there's a long ways to go. The Mets fell back with the Marlins to 53 and 47. And you can see the Phillies all alone at 54 and 46. The Braves back down at 47 and 53. They are 7 back.
And the Mets have an early 2-0 lead tonight.
Make it 2-1. Phillies just got a home run from the flying Hawaiian. Shane Victorino, his 7th. 2-2 to Ugla. That's a Brett Myers start tonight, isn't it? For the Phillies.
Brett Myers actually walked in the first run. Walked Carlos Beltran with the bases loaded. Myers spent some time in the minor leagues trying to get things together.
Here's the 3-2. Ugla checks his swing. Did he go around? Yes, he did. And so Dan strikes out. His struggles this homestand continue. Here comes Gonzo. Here comes Super Saturday. Marlins and Rockies on the second. It's a 7-10 start. The Bengals are coming. And a fireworks spectacular as well. In the first 15,000 in the ballpark. Get a Marlins inflatable guitar courtesy of FSM Florida and Sun Sports. Luis Gonzalez remembers the Bengals. So he takes a breaking ball high from Hudson. Now Gonzo 7 for 20 in his career against Hudson. And that's not a big surprise. Gonzo spending the bulk of his time in the National League. And Hudson, his early years, his formative years, that's a foul ball, with the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, and there are a couple of reasons. Obviously, Gonzo with some base hits against Tim Hudson. Josh Willingham continues to struggle, and against Hudson, he's just 1 for 15. So Freddie decided to get the left-handed bat of Gonzo in there. And Hammer hoping that he can turn things around.
Hudson joins a growing cast of quality starters that the Oakland A's have traded over the last 5-6 years. Chopper out towards second. And Johnson throws out Gonzo. I mean, it's a pretty incredible list. And some trades and some have left through free agency. Tim Hudson, of course. Mark Mulder was a trade. Barry Zito walked away as a free agent. Dan Hare in this offseason to Arizona. That was a trade that brought a lot of young prospects up from the Diamondbacks. Rich Harden, of course, whom the Marlins are going to see this weekend with the Cubs, and then Joe Blanton, who started last night against the Mets for the Phillies.
And they just keep getting more. How about the starters, the 4 starters the Marlins will see in a row starting tonight with T.Hudson. Then it's on to Chicago. Carlos Zambrano, he's won 10 games. Ryan Dempster's won 11, and then the aforementioned Rich Harden.
And to me, that's one of the I think the misnomers about the Michael Lewis's best-selling book Moneyball about Billy Beane and the Oakland Athletics and how they procure and develop talent. It focuses so much, and much of the publicity was about on-base percentage and looking at raw numbers as far as hitters. But man, drafting, procuring, developing, starting pitching, that has been the key for Oakland. T.Hudson is on tonight. So's Nolasco. That's why we're scoreless.
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise.
And Birmingham.
Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte and Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings Package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
The Red Bull Air Race World Series returns. 250 miles per hour. 10 G's. Motorsport's ultimate thrill ride. Wow! This season, pilots battle head-to-head over the most spectacular locations across the globe. The world's most dangerous sport takes flight. The Red Bull Air Race World Series from Detroit, Sunday on FSN and HD.
Take a journey down memory lane through baseball's past to a time where history comes alive. Introducing baseball's golden age. See legendary heroes like Ruth, Williams, Robinson, and DiMaggio in a rare collection of footage that brings America's pastime to life like never before. It's an all-new episode, The Boys of Spring, Sunday on FSN.
I'm Ricky Nolasco of the Florida Marlins, and I care. I don't chew, I don't dip, and I don't smoke. Join us as we work toward our goal of a tobacco-free Florida. For information, visit tobaccofreeflorida.com.
We said at the outset that the numbers for both of these pitchers, Ricky Nolasco and T.Hudson, are very similar in terms of wins, losses, ERA, batting average against. And so far that has carried over through the first 2 innings of this ball game. Hudson, who was a good hitter in college, whacks one into left field.
All SEC Player of the Year in 1997. And there is it's not even worth commenting on anymore because we see this happen 2 or 3 times every night. Yeah, not only did T.Hudson at Auburn win 15 games, he hit .396 and had 18 home runs.
And yet that amazes me because he hasn't hit a home run in the big leagues yet. He's had 268 career at bats, Tommy. He hasn't homered yet.
All that time in the American League killed him. Hey, he had 96 RBIs that year, 95 RBIs. That's a lot of RBIs in a college season.
Well, SEC is one of the premier college
Even if you go all the way to the World Series, you're going to play 65 games, 70 tops.
You would think he would have run into one and knocked one out of someplace.
Yeah, you would think.
Gregor Blanco at the plate. Here's a little role reversal. You've got the leadoff man trying to bunt the pitcher up. And that's, I guess, Bobby Cox showing just how precious runs are going to be here tonight.
Yeah, he's showing exactly what he thinks this game is going to be about, a low-scoring game, so he wants to get on that scoreboard quickly and first.
Bobby doesn't have his catcher's mitt with him yet, does he?
What did he say the other night? He wears that mitt because he's gotten hit 3 or 4 times in the dugout.
We went down and asked him specifically. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And he drops down a bunt. Nolasco lets it go, and I'm not sure what Ricky was thinking.
Yeah, that's his ball, and he's the only one who can make that play. If Mike Jacobs comes off the bag and makes it, Blanco beats it easily. So I'm not sure what was going through Ricky's mind, or if he heard footsteps, but Jake was going right to the bag. Look at right here. Jake over here he's going to the bag, starting to. And Ricky, if he picks that ball up, he's able to get to the bag before Blanco.
So now it's Escobar, and Nolasco, who pitched his way out of trouble in the first, is going to have to do the same here in the third if he wants to keep the Braves off the scoreboard. Escobar pops it up, and it lands foul, and the Marlins miss an opportunity there, though that would have taken a diving acrobatic catch by Nolasco. Yeah, we asked Bobby Cox the other day because late in the ball game, first game of the series, he was standing there with a catcher's glove on. And you know, some managers have crutches and things that they go to when they're a little nervous. Lou Piniella picks up a bat and swings it. And we asked Cox about the catcher's glove because, as you pointed out, he was a third baseman. And he said, well, with all the left-handed hitters we've got, I've been hit like 4 or 5 times this year. So I merely have it for my own protection. Line shot, base hit over the head of Cantu, and into the corner it goes. Hudson round third. He's going to score. Blanco stops, and the Braves have a run and a potential for a lot more, because second and third, here comes Chipper, Teixeira, and McCann.
That ball was absolutely stung by Yunel Escobar. It looked like Ricky tried to get a fastball by him. It was in, and Escobar just turned on it and ripped it. Actually hit it so hard, Blanco, who has terrific speed, couldn't score from first base.
Nolasco walked Chipper Jones in the first. And he gets a strike. It's 0-1. Remember the numbers we told you about. Nolasco against Chipper this year. Chipper is 6 for 7 with 3 homers against him.
This is also where Ricky's going to have to try to put that misplay out of his mind. And you have to have a short memory when you're out there on the mound concentrating on a guy like Chipper Jones and then Teixeira, and not think about that bunt base hit of Blanco's.
Oh, 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chipper Jones is the best thing going right now as far as hitters in baseball. Couple hits in this series. .371. Nolasco misses high with a fastball. Albert Pujols is second in the National League at .356.
Ricky's tried to go upstairs with a couple of fastballs. Looked like he may have tried to overthrow that last one.
Ian Kinsler leads the American League at just .324. Pop up, and it's out of play. Well, we talked about the bat and the bats that Chipper Jones uses. He uses an ash bat. It's very heavy. He likes a thick handle and a heavy bat, sometimes as heavy as 35 ounces. And he rarely breaks one. That's a fair ball. It's going to score a run. Jacob steps on the bag, and it's 2-0.
You know what? Chipper Jones is such a smart hitter. He realizes even by making the out, he picked up an RBI. He moved Escobar over to third on the roller to first base. So he did a couple of things with a weak out. But he accomplished two things.
Marlins are going to walk to Shera to pitch to McCann and set up a possible double play. Phillies and Mets are 2-2 now.
Didn't take the Phils long to tie that.
Well, Jeff Jenkins followed the Shane Victorino homer with one of his own.
How about Jenkins had to leave the game the other night when that bat broke and hit him right on the shoulder. He had to come out of the game here against the Marlins.
Teixeira's walked. Here comes McCann. Here comes Corona and our timeout, the official sponsor of the timeout. This offseason, he enrolled in yoga classes with his brother Brad, a former Marlin minor leaguer, to help add flexibility. Is it Bikram yoga? Is that how you pronounce it, Tommy? The one.
The Bikram yoga is in the room that's about 100 degrees. Yeah. Just regular yoga is in a normal room.
See, Floridians don't need a hot room. They just go out on their front lawn.
Go out in the patio.
Ricky's curveball is up. McCann called out on strikes back in the first.
The tough part for Ricky is that he knows in the back of his mind that he has had struggles against this ball club. He knows that there's some hitters that hit him pretty well. Problem is he's going to have to face the Braves a few more times this year when it's a club that's in your division.
Escobar. Teixeira across the way.
And right now you can see he's kind of all over the place with the fastball. He kind of put it together in the second inning. Looked like he was going to get back in a groove. Struck out a couple of hitters, made some good pitches.
It was the broken bat single by Hudson that started this inning.
And then the misplay, the bunt by Blanco.
Ground ball, might be two. Got one there, got two there. And so Nolasco gives up a couple. Tim Hudson has himself a lead. Marlins will try to answer back in the third.
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise.
And Birmingham.
Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte and Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings Package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
I am your idea. Color me. Get me noticed. Make me shout. And stand out. Give me Rico color that always works. I am your idea. Make me brighter. Make me shine. I am your idea. Get me in there. Make it happen. In flying colors. It's you and me, and here we go. With Rico.
Hey kid, open your eyes! My grandmother throws harder than that. You missed me! What do you call that? You got nothing. Whoa.
How many balls you want?
How many you got?
No!
Marlins baseball, you gotta be here. Want a towel?
Josh Willingham out of the lineup, but we put him to work tonight. 2-0 Atlanta on top of the Marlins. During batting practice, Hammer was all mic'd up.
You wearing a mic? Yeah, right here. See it? Yeah, why you wearing my mic? I'm just low for Just for Fox Sports, you know, they wanted me to ask you what the thought process was, getting out of that, loading the bases loaded, getting out of it.
Yeah, so I'm avoiding that next time.
No, I'm not gonna lie, I was out and left a little bit nervous yesterday.
Rick Vandenherk wiggled out of trouble yesterday when he did walk the bases loaded. He promptly struck out a couple, and they got the final out, and he would go on to throw 5 no-hit innings. Joe Nelson, Reniel Pinto, Matt Lindstrom would combine along with Vandenherk on just the 9th one-hitter in Marlins history. A changeup. You think Hudson has been watching the last couple of nights at Marlin hitters flailing at changeup?
Well, he has that. Yeah, he has been watching, I guarantee it, especially when Jorge Campillo pitched. But Hudson has the ability with that pitch. He has so many ways and weapons to get a hitter out. Not just the sinker. People talk about that. Got the split, the good changeup, the cutter, slider, and a lot of know-how out there too.
Baker turns on one and fouls it off.
Yeah, Rick Vandenherk 94 pitches in those 5 innings, and that's why he came out of the game. But battled when needed to. He was keeping that fastball 94, 95 miles an hour all night.
Up the middle. Johnson just gets the out. There's one out here in the 3rd, and up comes Nolasco.
You talked about the stretch with Oakland for Tim Hudson. 92 and 39 in his 6 years with the Athletics.
And you know what? He very easily could have been, and we talked about this with Cole Hamels this weekend, he very easily could have been an all-star this year, but he's pitching for a team that isn't scoring a lot of runs. 11th in the National League in runs scored. It's one of the deceptive stats because people look at, well, how's the team hitting? Oh, the Braves are hitting 263 as a team. That's 5th in the National League. But they're 11th in runs scored. So they're not getting the big hit.
You know, one of the odd numbers I thought on Tim Hudson, he's pitched so well at home. Turner Field, pretty good pitcher's ballpark, though. He's 8-1 with a 2.5 ERA at home. On the road, 2-6. So he's fairly mortal when he pitches away from Turner Field.
And Nolasco goes down. He was mortal here when he faced the Marlins, and the Marlins beat him 6-5. In fact, his velocity was down that day, so much so that Bobby Cox came out and got him after 3 innings. And there were thoughts at that point that maybe something was wrong with him. But he shook it off and has pitched well since.
Yeah, he threw 58 pitches. He didn't waste much time, Bobby did, in taking him out. And it could have spotted something with the velocity down.
Especially with all of the issues that the Braves starting pitchers have had this year. From Glavine and Smoltz. Hampton has yet to get off the launch pad.
That's been a real long launch pad.
Escobar rises up and swipes a hit away from Hanley Ramirez. Marlins have just that one Hanley single back in the 1st against Hudson tonight. It's 2-0.
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise.
And Birmingham.
Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte and Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings Package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
The Loaded Steakhouse from Burger King. That's the one with baked potato topping. How'd you earn it?
I just saved this baby seal.
Give it mouth to mouth.
Gnarly. What's your story, guy?
I just wanted one.
You just wanted one. Well, here I am just looking for treasure, and instead I find the most arrogant man on earth.
The new loaded steakhouse with premium Angus beef. So special, people may think you think you're special. It's a real Cinderella story.
She comes out of nowhere, and it's like boom.
Hit after hit.
Are you at a loss for words, Josh?
What do you mean she's gonna change TV forever? Well, find out.
One man wants to know the truth.
Put her in every home on the planet.
Who is Scarlet? The real Scarlet?
The evidence is staring you in the face.
Scarlet!
Things aren't always what they seem. Scarlet, the new series of TVs from LG.
Do you rinse at night? A quick rinse with Listerine puts plaque and gingivitis germs to bed, giving you 12 hours of protection. So rinse under the stars and say goodnight to germs. Listerine.
Our telecast available in high definition for a list of cable and satellite providers offering FSM Florida HD, along with channel numbers. Log on to FSMFlorida.com. In a pitcher's duel, Ricky Nolasco blinks first. And the Braves have a couple of runs. Here's Francoeur. And he takes outside. We were talking about his struggles, Tommy, this year, and he doesn't have a long track record or a long history. He's still a 24, a young player. But he had two pretty solid years going into this year.
He's always been, and he probably always is going to be, the type of guy who's not going to walk a lot. A free swinger, goes out of the strike zone. But I don't think I've ever seen him swing through so many pitches and miss so many pitches that normally we see him hit. Even the high fastballs that you know with the count 1 and 2 now, Ricky's going to give him. But normally we've seen him hit pitches like that.
That's a great point, because we've seen him go out of the zone and miss.
He's that kind of hitter, yeah.
But he normally never misses a fastball down the middle. Breaking ball, he drives that one to left and hits it deep down the line. That ball is foul.
Don't make that mistake again, Ricky. Go up with the heater. You know, he tried to throw the curveball, but with Francoeur, you cannot throw him a pitch in the zone. You want to miss outside.
And Francoeur's got to be thinking to himself, remember the ball he hit last night about 390 feet to right center, and the eyes nearly popped out of his head when he came around first because he thought he hit it out? Well, he hits that one out, but it's just foul.
Now that curveball got way too much of the plate.
Fastball, and he jumps on it down the right field line. Hermida slipped and picks it up, and Francoeur's got himself
kind of an example of what we were talking about. A high fastball, he went out of the zone, but that time Francoeur hit it.
So a double for Francoeur. Bring on the double. Who managed the Braves to their first postseason berth? Was it Joe Torre?
No, I don't think Joe Torre had a lot of success in Atlanta.
Did the Braves get to the postseason like in 69, 70?
For some reason, I want to say 69.
Here's Kelly Johnson. That ball is smoked. And it's fair just inside the line. And the Braves have jumped on Nolasco now for 3 runs. Francoeur and Johnson with back-to-back doubles to open up the 4th.
Just not the same location that we've seen Ricky have. The fastball to Francoeur, this one to Kelly Johnson. Boy, the setup outside, middle, belt high, and Kelly Johnson with that 2-base hit breaks an 0 for 11 with that double.
Mark Wiley out to the mound. Now I'm going to be honest, I just opened up the page to Braves managers and the seasons that they've had. And of course it's dominated by Bobby Cox and their 14 consecutive division titles. Joe Torre spent 3 seasons as the skipper of the Braves, 82, 83, 84, and in 82 they did win the West. They were 89 and 73.
Sorry, Joe,
but he's not the answer.
Oh, okay.
The answer is a guy I've never heard of.
Look at Bobby's got the catcher's mitt again.
Yes, he does. Now he's ready. See, he wasn't. First couple of innings, he knew his ball club wasn't swinging the bats real well. But now all of a sudden they're starting to hit line drives. He figures he better get the glove. Clyde King was a Braves manager. Eddie Matthews managed the Braves in the early 70s. Dave Bristol. Ted Turner for 1 game.
1 game.
Omar Infante takes down low.
How about Luman Harris? He managed the Braves, didn't he?
That is a good answer. Ken Silvestri, Billy Hitchcock, Bobby Bragan. Bobby Wine was an interim manager in 1985. Ross under it. And so there's 1 out. Here comes Hudson.
Mentioned Bobby Wine. We see Bobby a lot. He has for a long time been the advanced scout for the Atlanta Braves. So within the same division, of course, we see Bobby many times before that Braves series.
Where the Braves had some awful teams in the 70s and in the 80s. Save for that 1 division title in 82.
Hey, they had some awful attendance as well in those bad years. Fulton County Stadium, they'd pack about 1,500 in there.
In 1988, when Chuck Tanner and Russ Nixon were managers, Tanner was relieved of the duties, and Nixon finished the season. The Braves were 54 and 106. They drew 848,000 at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Fastball up and in. It's interesting, Torre took over in 1982 for a young manager who left and then went to go manage in Toronto. Bobby Cox. Ricky's breaking ball. It runs the count to 1-2. Hudson single opened up that 3rd. Braves got 2 in the 3rd. They have a run here in the 4th. Nolasco took a look. His momentum was headed towards first, and I think if there was nobody out, he probably would have gone to 3rd. But he gets the out at first. Family Sunday on the 3rd of August. The Marlins and the Rockies at 1:10. First 10,000 fans get a Marlins reversible floppy hat courtesy of AT&T Mobility. And kids run the bases after the game in the Nestle Drumstick Diamond Dash. 1-877-MARLINS, the number to call.
I think the other thing, Rich, as we kind of go through a little bit of the history of the Braves that people forget, when Bobby left to go manage Toronto, when he came back to the Braves, he came back as their general manager. He was named their general manager in October of 1985. Four or 5 years at that post, and then the transition to John Schuerholz, who came in as the GM. Bobby then went on the field, and the rest in Braves history has been history.
Schuerholz had helped build Kansas City into a winner. Gregor Blanco with Johnson at 3rd. 2 outs and a 2-1 count. Braves are in an interesting period right now. Are they an organization that can rebuild from within? Will they restock with either free agents or trades in the offseason?
Hasn't thrown a lot of them, but that was one of the best curveballs Ricky's thrown so far.
Blanco has a couple of hits. One of them was that bunt, the mix-up between Nolasco and Jacobs back in the third. Baker wants the fastball in.
I think the Braves have a lot of questions if you look to their future as far as outfield. Just start there. You got to figure Kotze probably won't be back. Frank Core's having an off year. He'd be the one that would be most solid in right field.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball laced into center field, a base hit. You know, after he hit that ball into center field, Blanco turned around, and I don't know if he was looking at the home plate umpire, if he was looking at Baker. Watch him.
He's looking at somebody.
Yeah.
Either in the stands or maybe John Baker. Well, here's the tough part. The Braves have scored 4 runs. When Tim Hudson's on the mound in his career, he's 123 and 23 when his team scores 4 or more runs.
I reluctantly wrote that into my scorebook. I just didn't want to have to trot it out tonight.
Yeah.
Escobar has flied out and doubled.
There used to be a unbelievable stat with Greg Maddux to that same effect.
There were some Brave fans that were holding out hopes that since Maddux is seemingly on the trading block, and I know he's got teams that he doesn't want to go to and no trade clauses for certain clubs and all of that. He wants to stay in the West. That if the Braves were still in contention closer to the wild card or to the East, that possibly Atlanta would make a trade and bring Maddux back. But I think it would kind of be bittersweet because you'd bring Maddux back, but there'd be no Smoltz, and Glavitt's not scheduled to come back.
Maybe in August.
Yeah.
That's their hope.
Drive to left. Gonzo back, looking. Off the wall it goes. Ross plays it. Blanco around third. And he will score. Yunel Escobar has 2 doubles tonight.
Well, the bottom line, we've learned one thing, is that the Braves are not a matchup for Ricky Nolasco. He has just not thrown the same way we've seen over the last couple of months. Fastballs have been up, breaking balls have been up, and hitters have had aggressive swings and hit the ball hard.
Here's Chipper Jones. Five runs on 8 hits already for the Braves. Marlins without a run. They have just 1 hit. Ryan Tucker gets going. Jones fouls it off. It's 1-1. The Mets have a run in the bottom of the third and a 3-2 lead over the Phillies. Going into the fourth here. Atlanta has battered Ricky Nolasco. Four of the 8 hits, doubles.
Yeah, 3 of those doubles in this inning, a 25 pitch inning.
Pretty good pitch. 2-2. Chipper goes out, chops it over to Cantu, who fires to first, and it's picked out of there by Jacobs, but the Braves add on. Chipper might be hurt. We'll know more when we get back.
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise.
And Birmingham.
Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte and Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
Tonight, do the mojito with the refreshingly cool taste of the Bacardi Mojito.
Introducing the new Summer Cash game from the Florida Lottery. It's hot. So hot, someone will win $250,000 every Wednesday through August 27th. Or win one of 50 Gas for a Year cards each and every week. Or win one of 5 Gas for Life prizes each and every week. You could even be a $25 instant winner of Summer Cash Cash. But hurry, like summer, when it's gone, it's gone. Ask for Summer Cash from the Florida Lottery. Get out and play.
Marlins baseball on FSM Florida is brought to you by Marooney. Hey, South Florida, when you need a car, truck, or van, who you going to call? 1-877-Marooney. By Checkers, Little Place, great taste. By Nissan and your Nissan dealer. By Pennzoil, feel the clean. And by Tobacco Free Florida, need help to quit smoking? Call the quit line, 1-877-YOU-CAN-NOW. There's Chipper Jones. He's made his way back to the dugout, but he's coming out of the ball game.
Well, he's hurting too. You can tell by the way he walked off. Going up the line, right as he gets near the bag, he starts grabbing that hamstring, that left hamstring. Hard to tell the way he walked off if it's a hamstring, a knee, a groin, but just the fact that he grabbed right back there, that left hamstring. He's had problems with his legs over the last few years. So Martin Prado, Bobby Cox makes the switch, brings in Prado to play third base.
Well, that's bad news certainly for Bobby Cox. The good news for Bobby Cox is that his ball club has scored 5 runs against Ricky Nolasco. Jeremy Hermida, Jorge Cantu, and Mike Jacobs against Tim Hudson, who, as Tommy pointed out, knows what to do with a lead.
Yeah, the other good news for Bobby Cox is that Tim Hudson's on his game. More ground balls.
Teixeira steps on the bag. There is one out.
The other thing about Hudson, for a guy his size, 6 foot, 6'1", 170, he's been durable. Last 8 years, he's averaged 217 innings per year.
That winning percentage that you talked about, second among active pitchers in baseball. Pedro Martinez is first. Cantu takes a strike. Last night, we told you that David Sampson, the president of the Marlins, was expected by tonight. Today, it was expected that there would be a ruling in the court case down in Miami. And today, apparently, the judge has asked that a part of the case be heard by the Florida Supreme Court. What that means, we got no idea. I mean, we'd have to call Roger Cossack or somebody like that.
The expert legal analyst, of which we are not.
Yes. we don't even employ a legal analyst.
It just means we have to wait a little longer.
Summon the duck. Who managed the Atlanta Braves to their first postseason berth?
Well, you went through a list of a whole bunch of managers. I'm hoping it's one of them. Loom Harris. 69 Braves swept by those Mets.
See, left-handed hitters up. Bobby has the catcher's mitt on. Jacobs jumps on a pitch, drives it down that right field line. Mike's got himself extra bases. Francoeur to the wall to pick it up. And Jake with a 2-out double. It'll bring Ugla up.
T.Hudson has not made many, but look at where this pitch is. Like a changeup that stayed up. And remember, Jake hit the changeup for the 3-run homer last night. Yeah, Bobby Cox with that mitt, it just reminds me of all the times when he was a Marlin. Luis Castillo was here. That left-handed, that little short, choppy swing. That third base side was always in danger. The dugout, the fans above the dugout.
Oh for 7 in this series. 1 for 19 on the homestand. Uglies are here.
Yeah, we pointed it out in our open, the struggles of some of the Marlins hitters between Hanley and Dan Ugla and Josh Willingham. Just 1 home run and 2 RBIs since the All-Star break, and the home run and the 2 RBIs by Dan Ugla.
Prado fires across. The Marlins strand Jake at second. 4 innings have passed. All Braves tonight.
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise.
And Birmingham.
Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte and Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings Package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
Some things just get better over time. And if you're a homeowner age 62 years or older, a reverse mortgage could make this the best time of your life. Hi, I'm Robert Wagner for the Senior Lending Network. A reverse mortgage is a government-insured loan that allows homeowners 62 and over to access the equity in their homes without making any monthly loan payments. I know it sounds too good to be true, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions. That's why the Senior Lending Network created this free educational video. It'll tell you all about government regulations, insurances, and safeguards, costs and fees associated with reverse mortgage, estate planning and inheritance issues, and much, much more. So if you're a homeowner, 62 years or older, let me send you your free video right now. It really could make this the best time of your life.
Call 1-800-599-0620. That's 1-800-599-0620. Call now.
Buckets are here, like a steam pot filled with crab, smoked sausage, and shrimp. Best served with buckets of ice-cold beer. Enjoy a few with your friends.
Watch Toyota Tundra Outdoors, Thursdays beginning at 12:30.
Florida Marlins Baseball está disponible en español vía Zap y es presentado por Prestige Audi.
Zap button on your remote or your set. Cookie and Raul appear. Hi, guys.
Rich, Tommy, how you doing?
Hi, Richie, Tommy.
Pretty good. We're doing okay. A little better, I think, than Ricky Nolasco tonight. He just doesn't have the same stuff we've seen over the last few starts.
Seems like he's leaving everything a little high tonight.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and too many time between pitches, so it seems like he's just struggling a little bit.
1-0 pitch misses inside. Cookie, do you believe in the theory that sometimes players can have an all-star game flu, so to speak? Guys that go to the all-star game, do all the activities. Sometimes it takes them a week or so to get their legs back.
Well, I agree with you, and especially in the case of Ogla. You know, he was hurt. He had an ankle that was hurt here going around first base, and then he flew all the way from the Dodgers game to New York and spent all the activities there, and then came back here. So definitely, I think that he might have really needed those 3 days off maybe for the second half, and I think sometimes that happened, Richie.
All right, guys, have a good show tonight.
Thank you. You too, guys.
Who was the guy eating ice cream in that booth? Did you see the guy?
Yeah, it looked good.
It did. Teixeira walks. Our Chevy road ahead. Are you ready for Chicago? What'd you pack, Tommy?
You know, it's going to be nice weather. It's going to be in the mid-80s. Nighttime, the one night game is going to be maybe upper 60s. So didn't take a lot of heavy stuff. Didn't bring the sweater vest.
Well, you're going to disappoint your legion of fans.
I'm packing that away and saving it for our trip to San Francisco, knowing that I won't need it in Arizona.
Here's McCann, who swings and misses. Now, Brian McCann was called out on strikes in the first, bounced into a double play in the third.
Boy, half the batters that Ricky has faced tonight have reached base. 11 of the 22.
And he's thrown an awful lot of pitches. He's up at 81.
I think the amazing thing, and you always wonder how an inning or how a game can change with just a couple of batters.
Ground ball, Ugla. Hanley's got 1 and 2.
That's one guy who's been able to handle.
And McCann has bounced into a double play a couple times, and he has struck out. And we check in with Craig Minervini.
Well, thank you very much, Rich. And I know a group that would like a double play like that. They're called Dugout Buddies, and you can bring your group too, your team of youngsters. 50 tickets to a Monday to Thursday game. Make a small donation to the Fan Care program that brings underprivileged kids to a future Marlin game. And guess what? You get to bring your Little League team or team, boys, girls, into the dugout. Meet some of the players like Jorge Cantu. 305-626-7751. Call for Mario, 305-626-7751 for Dugout Buddies. That was TSS Photography with teams all over South Florida. Enjoying the game here in the dugout. Good stuff before the game for some batting practice for these kids. Guys?
Yeah, what a thrill that is.
You know, that is good stuff, and I know we're always down there and get to see the players come over and talk to the youngsters too.
Hanley fires over to first, and Francoeur is out. Velasco gets through the fifth. Marlins have some work to do.
We've got it working. If you've got Mojo, you know it. Check your local HD listings or go to mojohd.com to find out how to get Mojo in your area.
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise.
And Birmingham.
Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte and Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings Package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
This week on the Best Damn Sports Show, period.
Thursday, Gary Payton heads to Vegas to see what's up with USA Basketball. Plus, Jeremy Roenick teaches celebs how to play golf like a hockey player.
And that's why hockey players make good golfers.
And Friday, Best Damn presents all the high-flying action. Speeding through the sky. It's Best Damn's Red Bull Air Races. This week at 11.
5-0 ball game. The Braves on top of the Marlins in the bottom of the 5th inning. Josh Willingham somewhere in there, and there he is. And here is Gonzo. Gonzo takes a strike at the knees.
Now we talk about so many of the hitters that have cooled off a little bit. Luis Gonzalez has cooled off somewhat. And I think a lot of that had to do with he was on a nice roll when he was playing all the time. When Hammer came back, his playing time was limited, and he's had trouble putting together some base hits.
Well, in this series for the Marlins, even though they won in last night's ballgame, there still have been some cold bats. You can see Hanley 1 for 2 tonight, so he's 2 for his last 18. Uggla's 0 for 2, 1 for 20. Baker now 1 for 11. Gonzo with that ground out, he's 0 for 11. Last 10 days, just 197.
And those are some key guys, too. You're not talking about guys that you don't rely on a lot. Those are some key guys.
Which is odd, too, because the Marlins in the month of July are best in the National League with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't fit. And they've been able to go 3-2 since the All-Star break.
Hudson hasn't thrown many pitches at all. That's number 47 here in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, he's gotten 7 ground ball outs, kind of along the same pattern that he usually does. He hasn't walked anybody, so he's been very efficient. I'm sure there were teams that stayed away from drafting him because they probably said he's too small. He went in the 6th round to Oakland.
Prado, long throw across in time to get Ross. If you just joined us, Chipper Jones left the ball game with an apparent hamstring injury.
Pretty good play by Martin Prado, and he gets a nice pick at the other end by a guy who I know you and I both think should win the Gold Glove at first base.
2 Gold Gloves in his history. Mark Teixeira. Where's he going to end up next year? I mean, if the Braves don't re-sign him, and it sounds like he's headed to free agency.
Wherever he does, they're going to have to pay him a lot of money. Some think back where he grew up in Baltimore. Some think maybe Yankees. You always have to think Yankees or Mets.
You have to think about a team that could afford him.
Yeah, and a team that could use him. Delgado, I believe, is the last year of his contract with the Mets.
Yankees would love to have him. He's one of those guys, too, that is going to enter free agency with a ton of momentum in terms of what he's done in his career and what he's doing this year. He's driven in 73 runs with 19 homers, so he's headed to 100 RBIs and 30 homers.
4 straight years. That would be 5 straight years of 30 or more home runs and 100 RBIs. So he's shown consistency too. Good track record.
You know, I heard someone today talking about first baseman, and I think the context was they were talking about Albert Pujols and the fact that Pujols is a Gold Glove first baseman. They were comparing him to someone else, and they said, yeah, but you know, winning a Gold Glove at first base is that's not really a big deal. And I almost drove off the road. It's like,
who said that?
I don't know. But I mean, you were certainly had a great seat watching Derek Lee here at first base and all the things that he did for the rest of that terrific infield. And you ask any infielder that plays with a Gold Glove first baseman and how many errors he saves. I mean, a Gold Glove first baseman, you look at his fielding percentage and the number of errors he makes. But I think you also need to look at the rest of the infield, because those infielders will tell you that a Gold Glove first baseman will save the rest of the infield a bunch of errors as well.
So many intangibles when determining a Gold Glove first baseman. And sometimes those other infielders are Gold Glovers because of that Gold Glove first baseman.
Robert Andino. And Andino would swing and miss. Now in 2003, you had a guy at second base winning a Gold Glove. You had a third baseman who would eventually win a Gold Glove. And you had a shortstop who could play Gold Glove caliber defense, but it has not won a Gold Glove in Alex Gonzalez. Line smash. Kelly Johnson makes the catch. And the Marlins are done here in the fifth.
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise.
And Birmingham.
Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte. And Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings Package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
Wash off the dirt and rub on the shine with Cherry Power Car Wash. It's only $2.98 a gallon until July 26th. Whatever you're working on, Advance will help you keep the wheels turning.
I'm Luis Gonzalez of the Florida Marlins, and I care. I don't chew, I don't dip, and I don't smoke. Join us as we work toward our goal of a tobacco-free Florida. For information, visit tobaccofreeflorida.com.
So, root canal or Marlins game?
You gotta be here Fish Friday, August 1st, as your Marlins battle the Rockies. Grab a 4 for $54 pack. All fans get a 2008 Marlins All-Star poster, and 100 can win a poster autographed by Hanley Ramirez and Dan Ugla on Scratch Off Friday. Plus, enjoy Fiesta Latina and the 10th inning party at the Strike Zone. Call 1-877-MARLINS or go to floridamarlins.com. Marlins baseball. You gotta be here.
Baseball coverage brought to you by LG and HD. LG, life's good.
5-0 ball game in the top of the 6th inning at Dolphin Stadium. The Marlins and the Braves. And the Marlins are going to dip into their bullpen. Ryan Tucker comes out of the pen, and he'll take over for Ricky Nolasco, who through 5 innings gave up 5 runs on 8 hits. Ugla spears the line drive off the bat of Kelly Johnson.
Now 1 pitch, 1 out. Ryan Tucker starting to be used out of that bullpen after some ineffective starts. Good fastball, good changeup. And I think you look at numbers, the walks and strikeouts, not the ratio you'd like to see. But no question, a solid arm. And his first ever appearance against the Atlanta Braves.
Omar Infante Tucker misses outside. Tucker's a guy that the Marlins had as a starter in the minor leagues. He's a guy also that suggested all the way up the ladder that he'd love to be in the bullpen as well. And so sliding him into the bullpen for him, not necessarily a real demotion, or I guess for him and maybe for the Marlins, a chance to look at him in this role.
You know, the Marlins with a couple of guys, they're good friends. They were pitching together in Carolina, Ryan Tucker and Chris Volstad.
Phillies and Mets 3-3 in the 5th. Who are the Marlins pulling for in that ball game? It would be, I guess, the Mets, right? That sounds strange to say.
You say it. But you're right.
Well, you essentially want them to beat up on each other.
If somehow the Marlins can get the bats going, should the Mets win that game and the Marlins win tonight, it'd be a three-way tie.
On a hop, Hanley picks it and throws across. Sunday night, television's biggest night, with the summer sports block beginning with the Hooters Dream Girl, and then baseball's golden age, followed by amazing sports stories, and finally the best damn top 50. The summer sports block begins Sunday at 7, only on FSN Florida.
You know, a guy we haven't talked about a whole lot lately. I was talking to him in the clubhouse yesterday, and I believe he was throwing an inning tonight for Jupiter, is Justin Miller. And he told me he was fine and ready to go. And it'll be interesting to see how long he'll stay on some rehab assignments.
T.Hudson flies out. Ryan Tucker fine and ready to go with a 1-2-3-6.
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise.
And Birmingham.
Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte and Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings Package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
Who could that be? Oh, wow. I'm there for you, buddy. That was Brad. He really wants to vent.
We should go.
Ready to vent?
Let's vent.
Let's vent.
Let's vent.
Introducing the vented wide mouth can from Coors Light. It lets in air for a smooth, refreshing pour.
Is he okay?
I think we'll be venting a little longer.
Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
The Chrysler Dodge and Jeep 299 Gas Guarantee Plus ends in 8 days.
We can go anywhere in our Jeep Patriot.
We can haul the boat to the lake in our Dodge Ram.
We're going on our summer vacation in our Chrysler Town and Country.
Buy or lease most vehicles and pay just $2.99 a gallon in each of the next 3 years for up to the first 12,000 miles per year. And now get 0% financing for 72 months plus 1,000 bonus cash, or the gas guarantee plus 3,000 bonus cash on Ram 1500 Quad and Mega Cab. Hurry, the $2.99 gas guarantee ends in 8 days.
It's the 6th inning. Time now for the Coors Light freeze cam. Watch Mike Jacobs come over for the pop-up. Look kind of innocent, but watch this. Freeze it. Oh, Jake getting an elbow to the head. Oh, Jake. 2 minutes for roughing. And he gives the evil eye to the fan. The fans fought over the ball. Jake knows how to take a shot. The Coors Light Frost Brewed freeze cam. 5-0 ball game, bottom of the 6th inning. When it's a 5-0 ball game in the bottom of the 6th inning, you look for a Coors Light freeze cam that will.
I thought that was very well done.
Amuse ourselves, and that not funny to Jake, but Jake was a sport about it. Pitch count very nice for T.Hudson. He has pitched to contact. He's pitched from out in front. He's given up a couple of line shots to Hanley. One was a base hit. One ended up in the glove of Escobar at shortstop.
Yeah, Hanley has probably hit the ball as well as anybody tonight. His 2 at-bats. again.
And again, it ends up in Escobar's glove. So Hanley's bat's coming around. He's 1 for 3.
Yeah, and I like the area where he's hitting those balls, too.
Super Saturdays give you a post-game concert, fireworks, autograph sessions, giveaways, and the best entertainment in the majors. Second half Super Saturday concerts include the Bengals on the 2nd. J.C. Velasquez on August 16th, 1877 Marlins.
As expected, Rich, the injury to Chipper Jones, left hamstring strain. They're going to reevaluate him on Friday.
Hudson misses down low. But that's all the Braves need to hear, is it another injury. They've had so many guys on the disabled list, so many big names.
And I know the other night you pointed out the statistic that the Braves this year in the 12 games that Bobby Cox has filled out a lineup without Chipper Jones in it are 2-10.
Hermida fouls it back to the screen. Jeremy tonight is 0 for 2. It was 2 years ago, I believe, that the Marlins were getting shut out by Hudson all the way into the 9th inning. I believe it was a 3-0 game. And Hudson came out to pitch the 9th. The Marlins got the first 3 runners on, and the Braves went to Bob Wickman in the bullpen, and then the whole thing fell apart, and the Marlins won it with a walk-off win.
A Wiki implosion.
Here's the 2-2. This is a vintage Tim Hudson tonight.
Yeah, you talk about painting a fastball. Hey, we're talking about Justin Miller. He did pitch tonight for Jupiter. Pitched an inning, gave up a couple of hits. Actually credited with the win in the 5 batters that he faced.
Cantu swings and misses.
So far tonight, this has been a rough one for Jorge Cantu. He has struck out twice, and doing so on 6 pitches. That was the 7th pitch he's seen. A strike. And hammers that one.
By the diving Prado. Infante over to get it. And Cantu's got himself a base hit. 2-out single here in the 6th inning.
You know, your eyes kind of light up when you're facing Hudson, and all of a sudden he makes a mistake. I mean, a couple of pitches that have been hit. Remember the double by Jacobs was a pitch up. That pitch was up. So he hasn't made many, but when he has, the Marlins have hit it hard.
Jake bounced out in the 1st, doubled in the 4th. This is game 3 of the series. The Marlins, without a run and 3 hits in this ball game, have 4 runs and 9 hits for the entire series. Jacobs drives that ball to right center field. Blanco is back. He's there, and he makes the catch. Marlins done in the 6th, going to the 7th. It's been all Braves tonight.
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise.
And Birmingham.
Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte and Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings Package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
Hey, Mr. Opportunity here, and if you're seeing me, it's Honda clearance time, which means now's your chance to pick the Accord, the Civic, the fuel-efficient Fit, or any other Honda you yearn for at a deal that can only be described as very desirable.
Looking good, Mr. O.
This job just keeps getting better and better. The 2008 Honda clearance. Lease a Honda Odyssey for $239 a month for well-qualified customers. At where? Yeah, your Honda dealer. I'm Mr. Opportunity, and I'm knocking.
This was a great pitching matchup on paper going into this one, and only one side has lived up to it. Ryan Tucker fires a fastball that's inside to Gregor Blanco, and it's 1-0.
A little tougher a second inning, as you like to say, a soft landing, I think, for Ryan Tucker. That first inning he pitched, he had the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. Now he's got top of the lineup, and a good start for Tuck.
Pop up. Cantu was calling, and I don't know that he heard Hanley, and then Hanley came in and bumped into Cantu. And I think that if we can take a look at this again, we'll see if maybe Hanley called him off. But if you're a third baseman, you're waiting to hear, and it's obviously you can't hear anything. We didn't see Hanley's mouth move.
Don't really see either making the call, but miscommunication shouldn't happen, especially at this level of play. And it's an error to Jorge Cantu. When you don't hit, you better field. And the Marlins right now, as you pointed out, are not hitting.
Here's the 0-1. Soft grounder, Cantu. Nice release, nice pivot, nice double play.
All right, Jorge, you made up for it. That was nice.
All right, let's listen, Tommy, see if we can hear anybody calling for it.
Okay. Can't hear. It may have been a couple of early I got it by Jorge Cantu, but not real aggressive. But you know what? He made up for it with a nice feed to start that double play. I like that.
All right. There's Blaine Boyer down in the bullpen, which is a little bit odd because it's the top of the 7th. It's 5-0.
And Hudson's only thrown 68 pitches. Good job, too, by Ryan Tucker after the error of Jorge Cantu. He appeared to not let it get him flustered, and he came back, made a pretty good pitch to get Escobar to hit that ground ball to start the double play.
That one down low. Reports out of the truck are that possibly he was fiddling with his elbow on after that last half inning. And so hopefully Craig will get a report. Tucker catches the corner. They've already lost Chipper Jones to a hamstring injury.
Well, that's the last thing the Braves need to hear.
Prado walks, and we're headed to Chicago. And if you can't be there with us tomorrow night, you can be there with us at the Lucky Strike Lanes for the big watch party tomorrow night. Marlins and Cubs start at 8 o'clock. Billy and the Mermaids will be there. You can win tickets, merchandise, and of course there's always great bowling specials at Lucky Strike Lanes, 1-877 Marlins.
And you can always challenge Nancy Olson to a couple of games, couple of frames maybe. It's a little one-on-one. She'll take on everybody. She is an outstanding bowler.
Kegler. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Speaking of Lucky Strike Lanes, a guy that has been there more than a few times. We're happy to have him back tonight. John Sulzer, our producer, back in the saddle, getting ready for the trip to Chicago
after extensive dental work.
John unable to speak, which
makes it tough for a producer.
Actually, it's a refreshing change for us.
He's brought plenty of straws for the road trip.
Sheriff fouls it off. And it's 2-2. So the Marlins are going to get the Braves bullpen for the last 3 innings of this ball game. We'll try to get you an update on T.Hudson. Tucker misses low and inside to Mark Teixeira.
Well, so many times we talk about that. Even though the Braves have a solid bullpen, sometimes just a different look can get things going.
Teixeira takes outside. Tucker lost Prado, and now he loses Teixeira.
This is what gets Ryan Tucker in trouble. The 2-out walk. He got that nice double play. Had Prado hitting instead of Chipper Jones because Prado came into the game and couldn't throw him strikes. And then with Teixeira up there, lost him.
Mets and Phillies are 3-3 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Jeff Jenkins, Shane Victorino have homered in that ball game.
What were your thoughts last night? I know it was a big topic in New York, of course, with Johan Santana went 8 innings for the Mets last night, had a 5-2 lead. And he is their ace. They've spent a lot of money for him. And they knew also that Billy Wagner would not be available. And he had thrown 105 pitches. I know his turn at bat came up in the bottom of the 8th. So Jerry Manuel pinch hit for him. But my feeling is if you're Johan Santana, you want to go out, pick up your team knowing that Wagner's not available and pitch the 9th inning.
Well, and as you just talked about, sometimes just seeing somebody other than the starter, whether he's got a better fastball or a better breaking ball or whatever, just a different look. All right, our folks in the truck have been working hard, and here's a look at Hudson, and like I said, fiddling with his elbow. And it may be just that the Braves are being very precautionary. Figure, hey, it's a 5-0 game. Yeah, you've only thrown 68 pitches, but take the rest of the night off. Remember how quickly Bobby Cox came out and got him when he started here early in the year? He got him after just 3 innings. Now the Marlins were knocking him around in that ball game, but that was a quick hook as well. That Milwaukee-St. Louis game is underway. What a wild series that has been for Bill Hall, who's hit a couple of...
Wait till the 9th or 10th inning and Bill Hall will come through.
The game-winning home runs in the 9th inning in the first game, in the 10th inning last night, and it's scoreless in the bottom of the 3rd. Tucker bounces one up there. Mets have stretched their lead to 6-3 on a Jose Reyes 3-run homer. He seems to be energized in the second half. And boy, do they need him.
That was a little bit of a misplay by Reyes last night that extended that inning for the Phillies.
By the diving Jacobs into right field. Hermida over to get it. Prado around third. He's going to score. And the Braves add on and make it 6-0. Brian McCann, a 1-for-4 night. He had accounted for 5 outs in his 3 at-bats. He bounced into a couple of double plays, and he had struck out.
Well, the 2 walks hurt because one of them has just come in to score. And Brian McCann smoked that ball. You know, Brian McCann leads all major league catchers in home runs and doubles, having another solid year.
He's only 24. Francoeur, Hanley up the middle, backhand flip to Ugla in time to get the out, but the Braves add a run.
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise.
And Birmingham.
Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte and Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings Package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
Some things just get better over time. And if you're a homeowner age 62 years or older, a reverse mortgage could make this the best time of your life. Hi, I'm Robert Wagner for the Senior Lending Network. A reverse mortgage is a government-insured loan that allows homeowners 62 and over to access the equity in their homes without making any monthly loan payments. I know it sounds too good to be true, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions. That's why the Senior Lending Network created this free educational video. It'll tell you all about government regulations, insurances, and safeguards, costs and fees associated with reverse mortgage, estate planning and inheritance issues, and much, much more. So if you're a homeowner, 62 years or older, let me send you your free video right now. It really could make this the best time of your life.
Call 1-800-599-0620. That's 1-800-599-0620. Call now.
Our tobacco-free Florida game summary.
Well, early on, some struggles from Ricky Nolasco, who did not pitch well. Big base hit there by Blanco up the middle. A lot of pitches up in the strike zone. T.Hudson, on the other hand, was on his game. Sinkers, sliders, cutters, fastballs up, and he made his pitches. Ricky lasted 5, gave up 8 hits and 5 runs. Hudson is gone after his 6 innings. Maybe something tweaking in the elbow, but he is out, so the Marlins will get a look at that Braves bullpen now.
Blaine Boyer coming out of the bullpen, and that last shot, you could see one of the guys coming over to talk to Hudson about his elbow was Mike Hampton, who has some experience with the injuries
over his entire body.
Ugla. Sharp ground ball, Escobar. And an out here in the 7th. Our Land Rover, legendary performance. Rick Vandenhurst called up, emergency start, break glass, and bring out Vandenhurst. And he escaped that bases loaded situation and ends up going 5 no-hit innings. The Marlins would end up with a combined 1-hitter, the 9th 1-hitter in Marlin history.
Yeah, bases loaded. He walked the bases loaded and then was able to strike out Francoeur, struck out Kelly Johnson, and got Mark Kotze to pop up.
1-1 to Gonzo. Still sitting on 586. The career active leader for doubles. Pops that one to left field. Infante makes the play. And there's 2 down here in the 7th. The Cubs are in Arizona tonight. And the Marlins are actually going to get to Chicago tonight faster than the Cubs will.
Cubs have lost 2 straight in Arizona to the Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks don't look like a 500 team in those first 2 games.
You know, you talked about Bill Hall and that Milwaukee-St. Louis series. The Brewers have won 6 in a row.
Yes, they have. And Milwaukee is just a game back behind the Cubs. St. Louis is now 2 back. And that's going to set up for a wild finish in the Central, much like the National League East. And of course, the Marlins will be right in the middle of it. They have 7 games with the Cubs and 7 games with the Cardinals. And of course, they are finished already with the Brewers.
So they will not have to see CC Sabathia, who has been pretty good since he's been a Brewer. He's 3-0.
Ross fouls that one off his foot. Yeah, CC Sabathia has lived up to the hype, so to speak.
He's pitching tonight against Braden Looper too in St. Louis.
He's gone 3 no-hit innings and struck out a couple. That's a scoreless ball game in the top of the 4th. Brewers and Cardinals.
And just waiting for Bill Hall.
Do you think there's some beer consumed at those games? Busch Stadium, Miller Park. Oh-2.
Saw Boyer for a 1/3 of an inning last night. Got a good arm. Fastball. He stays right around 94, 95. Good slider.
In the American League, Tampa Bay held on and beat Oakland 4-3. James Shields is now 9-6. Troy Percival is back in the saddle, so to speak. His 20th save. Yankees beat the Twins 5-1. Mike Mussina's 13-6.
Well, there were some who thought Mussina's career was winding down, almost over. He's come back, had a terrific year.
White Sox 10-8 beat Texas. Wonder if there's any jawing going on between Ozzie Guillen and the Rangers bullpen in that one. Carlos Quentin hit his 25th and 26th. That has been an acquisition that really, I think, outside of Chicago, hasn't gotten enough national play.
And you know, we saw Quentin. I remember when the Diamondbacks brought him up. It was right about when the Marlins were in town. We saw him a little bit with Arizona.
Cody didn't like that call. Thought it was low and outside. It is strike 3, and that ends the 7th.
Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise.
And Birmingham.
Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte and Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
Tonight, do the mojito with the refreshingly cool taste of the Bacardi Mojito.
Do you rinse at night? A quick rinse with Listerine puts plaque and gingivitis germs to bed, giving you 12 hours of protection. So rinse under the stars and say goodnight to germs. Listerine.
You got to be here for Family Sunday, August 3rd, as the Marlins wrap up the series against the Rockies. Fans get a Marlins reversible floppy hat. Get to the strike zone early for Snapshot Sunday and the Family Fun Zone with games and activities from Radio Disney. Plus, after the game, kids can run the bases in the Diamond Dash. 1-877-MARLINS or go to FloridaMarlins.com. Marlins Baseball, you got to be here. Nissan presents This Day in Baseball History. Lou Gehrig hits the first of his record 23 grand slams as the Yankees beat the Senators 11-7. That ball into left field, and Gonzo is there to make the catch. Do you think back then that Red Barber and Mel Allen and all those great announcers had all those stats when Gehrig comes to the plate? You know, Lou Gehrig is hitting .315 with the bags loaded.
Yeah, it's just here Red Barber checking the computer for the out-of-town scores. Remember the old ticker tapes? Used to peel off the scores. They'd spit out all the scores, and that was even after then.
He's got an incredible VORP, Tommy.
Not during the game.
Omar Infante.
No OPS.
It's 0-1.
The whip wasn't around yet.
No. Range factor was not the way they would determine defensive ability.
They would just say, this guy covers a lot of ground. And you know what? If you watch a lot of games, you can tell if a guy covers a lot of ground.
There's Greg Norton. Cantu on his knees, and Jake can't pick it. It's going to be a base hit. And we check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Well, guys, the big question, of course, these days for those following the NL East is who's going to win the division. Right now, it looks like a three-team race. One of the keys may be the record within the division, because the teams are just about past the halfway point to play 72 games against each other, and most of the teams right around that 36-38 game mark within the division. So lots to go of the 60 against their own. Now, the Marlins lead the pack at 22-16. The Phillies are second. The Mets just a game over 500 within the division. These numbers here are going to be a key. If they can repeat, the Marlins certainly would have a great chance to win the division. There's some tough games, though. The Marlins have a tough stretch coming up. They've got the Mets next week, this Braves series, the Phillies, a couple of road trips, too. But it's going to be interesting, especially in September. And I think the difference is going to be what you just saw. Who wins the games in the division? Who knocks off somebody else? If somebody gets hot, it'll be tough to beat.
You want tough. How about the scoring decision on that play? E5.
Spear a hard hit shot, throw from your knees, and you get charged with an error. You know, yeah, if the throw was up, and I think what Jorge wanted to do was one hop it, but out in front of first base a little bit more. But you have to consider the degree of difficulty.
That ball's hit a mile, but it's hooking foul. Here's another look.
First of all, the ball is hit like a rocket. Jorge has to spin the other way from his knees. He tries to one hop it, and he gets it a little in between. Okay, did the throw beat him? Yes. And if that's the only thing you're judging it on.
2-2. Bouncer up the middle into center field. And that's a base hit. So Greg Norton delivers a pinch hit single.
You know, the 2 errors, if in fact that stays an error, 18 on the year for Jorge Cantu.
You know, even the first error was a ball that Cantu went after, and from what we saw with video and listened with audio, it didn't sound like his shortstop Hanley Ramirez called him off, and they collided. The ball bounced out of his glove. He ends up getting the error.
So he's really interfered with by his shortstop, and gets the error. Sometimes life is just not fair. It's an area that you know, you don't zero in on it as much because the Marlins are playing and have been playing some pretty good baseball and are a game out. But it's an area that just has to improve, especially when you have young pitching. If you're going to make your young pitchers have to get extra outs every inning, it's just more taxing on them. They're not going to last as long in games. And the Marlins clearly at the bottom of the pack, 86 errors on the season.
And sometimes it's not the errors that show up. It's the plays that should be made that are not errors that can hurt you just as much as an error. And I think a good example of that was that ball, that bunt by Gregor Blanco back in the 3rd that Ricky Nolasco kind of hesitated on and then didn't go after. And it ends up as a bunt single. There's no error there, but it leads to runners at first and second. All of a sudden the Braves are off to a 2-run inning. That one is smacked in the gap into right center field. That's going to roll to the wall. And Gregor Blanco has got extra bases. He's probably got 3. He runs so well. And he's going to get to 3rd with a triple. Braves have 2 more runs. The route is on.
Again, making a young pitcher work with plays not being made behind, even though it was a tough one. Blanco's had quite a ball game. It's his 4th base hit tonight. He scored a couple of runs. He's driven in 3.
Brady's coming out to the mound. He wants the baseball, and we'll step aside with our Marooney called to the bullpen.
Truck or van, who you gonna call? Marooney!
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise.
And Birmingham.
Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte and Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
All right.
Hey, good to see you again.
You too.
Making cookies?
For my nieces.
That is so sweet.
Yeah, how hard could it be?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh what?
You're gonna need baking soda, not baking powder.
I'll get that. Hey, could you... I thought I had the right thing.
Use baking powder, it could be you.
Are you? What? Just in case.
You're gonna be fine. Trust me.
Okay. Thanks.
They're gonna love them.
Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
If you missed last week's baseball report,
Here's a look at what you might have missed.
The game is back to being competitive.
They are still sinners in my book. Tune in every week to the Baseball Report presented by Honda Motorcycles.
Joe Nelson comes out of the bullpen trying to quiet down this Braves ball club in the 8th, the game that has gotten away from the Fish. Yunel Escobar, who has doubled twice.
Well, top of the order has really done a job for Atlanta. 4 hits for Blanco. Escobar has 2 doubles. And the Braves tonight have gone 6 for 14 with runners in scoring position.
Fastball misses inside. You know, we were talking during the break. We've been trying to figure out why on that 1 base hit that Gregor Blanco, when he was halfway up the first base line, kind of turned around back towards home plate. And one of the other alternatives is that somebody in the stands was on him. And that after smashing a base hit, he figured he'd turn around and just.
Yeah, you know, what are you playing for? You can't hit. And all of a sudden he bangs one up the middle and turned around and said, yeah, I can. And he can. 4 tonight.
That's one of those where after the ball game, as we hop on the plane and fly up to Chicago, we'll have to ask John Baker and see if he was privy to anything that was going on during the AB. And we'll report back to you in what, about 3-4 weeks when we go to Atlanta next time we see the Braves. Here's the 2-2. Ground ball. And Cantu fires over to first. Josh Willingham mic'd up for us during batting practice, and he sidled up to Joe Nelson.
You didn't think that was going to be the only hit of the game, did you? Or you wouldn't have thrown that pitch?
No. I would have walked him.
You would have come
if they would have told
change
me
up.
before the game that there was only going to be 1 hit, I would have walked everybody until they took me out. I mean, I knew going in they had a no-hitter going, but 3 pitches later I went, all right, let's try and get a 1-hitter.
Good approach. He has a good attitude about this game. Joe Nelson does.
The fastball came in and almost got Prado. Nelson was in the clubhouse last night talking to reporters about giving up that 1 hit, and when John Baker walked by, Nelson shouted out, "Nice pitch selection." Of course, Baker had just been behind the plate for a 1-hitter. Fastball rides in, and it's popped up. Jacobs makes the catch. Inning over. Braves add on. It is 9-0.
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise.
And Birmingham.
Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte and Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings Package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
Some things just get better over time. And if you're a homeowner age 62 years or older, a reverse mortgage could make this the best time of your life. Hi, I'm Robert Wagner for the Senior Lending Network. A reverse mortgage is a government-insured loan that allows homeowners 62 and over to access the equity in their homes without making any monthly loan payments. I know it sounds too good to be true, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions. That's why the Senior Lending Network created this free educational video. It'll tell you all about government regulations, insurances, and safeguards, costs and fees associated with reverse mortgage, estate planning and inheritance issues, and much, much more. So if you're a homeowner, 62 years or older, let me send you your free video right now. It really could make this the best time of your life.
Call 1-800-599-0620. That's 1-800-599-0620. Call now.
9-0 ball game. Josh Willingham mic'd up for batting practice. When you're mic'd up, you're a marked man.
Big wheels keep on turning.
All right, there were these 2 small penguins in a canoe.
2 morons were on a cliff. One of them fell off.
There's the camera up there.
You want to know why the other one didn't?
Why?
He was a little moron.
Wow. Now that is a good joke.
The kind of joke you need.
Yeah, when it's 9-0.
Kind of joke you need right now with the score 9-0.
Actually, we need more of them, and there were plenty of jokes that we were unable to bring you. They will be on the unrated DVD version of Hammer Mic'd Up. That with the producer and director's narration. This is Will Oman.
Yeah, you saw nice numbers from Oman. Gave Bobby Cox an inning, the 8th inning, a nice 1-2-3 8th inning, the first game of this series in the Campillo game. So the Marlins were shut out in that game for the 5th time, trying to avoid being shut out for the 6th time this year.
Well, they've just announced that T.Hudson left the ball game with tightness in his right elbow. And so that's why he left the game. He'll be examined tomorrow.
Lose a couple of guys like Chipper Jones and T.Hudson. Wow.
Here's the 2-2.
By the way, talking about the Marlins being shut out, 3 of their shutouts, they were shut out 3 times in the month of April. So they've been able to avoid them. But this has been that kind of series with all the hitters struggling that we pointed out.
Oman walks Baker. Time for the stay in the game. Hold to the day. Brought to you by Just for Man Hair Color. Benio Pinto's got 15. We will see Carlos Marmol tomorrow night, and we will certainly say hello and let him know we've been talking to him. We're talking about him.
And as we said, he's their closer now. He's closing games with Kerry Wood on the DL.
So no holds, but saves for Carlos Marmol. Here's Amezuga. It sounds like it would be a great wrestling card. The masked Marmol against the amazing Amezuga.
Oh, yeah. I'd go see that one.
That's 2 of 3 falls in a steel cage match.
Steel cage match. You know, talking about the Marlins getting shut out here, you never know how a game's going to turn, but you look back to the 1st inning, the leadoff double by Hanley Ramirez, the bottom of the 1st. Jeremy Hermida got him over to 3rd with a ground ball, but the Marlins were unable to get him in. So you never know if it's a 1-0 game, the Marlins jump out early.
That game in New York is now going to the 8th. Mets have a 6-3 lead over the Phillies.
I think the spasms and tightness in Billy Wagner's shoulder are feeling better.
Note was that he's available tonight. So we'll see. I mean, if it's a 3-run game and they get to the 9th, that was the same lead as last night. Where's John's hat? Two and 2. John Tuitu down there at 3rd base, usually with a hat on. Might want to put a helmet on after that Amezuga ball came close.
I think he has that in his closet. He has the helmet.
So it is 2 and 2. We've seen him in a variety of hats this year. Now that's the Christmas in July hat. He had kind of a Marlin Perkins hat on the other day, right? Mutual of Omaha.
Sort of, but the guy next to him had a better one on. Yeah. Hey, he's a man of many hats.
Amezuga pops it back into the seats. Brewers have scored first in St. Louis. What is that?
That's I like that. That's a combination hat, visor. You wear that in the outfield when you play in a day game. When did the backwards hat come into play?
Well, I know Buck Showalter's not a big fan of it. Here's the 2-2. I remember when Buck Showalter got into it with, I want to say, Ken Griffey Jr.
Yes, it was.
Who used to
There's
like
the Marlins box hat. The always popular visor.
with the sunglasses on.
Yeah.
And the Marlins cowboy hat. Meziga fouls it off his foot.
Can you just see somebody tuning in right now and saying
Marlin Perkins?
And it's the camouflage, the inside out hat.
Now see, if you bend your bill and then you flip it over, the rally cap doesn't
The
look
Ipiapa hat.
Yeah, that's, you're on that. See, now he's still working on it.
Yeah, you got to make it a little bigger. And with Alfredo Meziga fouling off so many pitches,
we have more time to look for hats.
Yeah, but we also should be able to find a sombrero, but maybe not.
No, you want to do that when you get to Wrigley Field, so then you could say, hey, who's the guy in the
remember the duffel bag hat, the adjustable strap.
The duffel hat. 3-2 pitch. Alfredo said enough with the hats, and he sends it out to center field. All right, one more. Indulge us if you must. Now this was the guy that was next to John Tui too.
Yeah, that was the other day.
Griff.
Yeah.
That's like a giant tennis hat. Now that's, well, that's
the get lucky hat.
Don't get too lucky though. Here's Hanley.
By the way, that was an 11 pitch at bat by Alfredo Meziga. See if Hanley can hit another ball hard. He's 1 for 3 tonight, but he's hit all 3 balls hard, and that's a good sign. See, we ran out of hats and we have nothing to say.
Well, I mean, it's 9-0. We've used up all our best material. And that was like in the first. Ullman misses down low. We can remind you that all Marlins games or all Marlins hats that you've missed, you can get them on demand or listen to every radio broadcast live. Sign up today, MLB.tv, an unparalleled live baseball experience. Visit FloridaMarlins.com, where baseball is always on. Two-one. That's not a hat, but it's sort of now you can have hat hair.
It's a look. It's a look.
They all went to the same place, apparently. That's a strike. See, it's 9-0 games in the bottom of the 8th that get announcers in a lot of trouble.
Pretty good fastball. Good chance Hanley may get another one. That's the sleepy hat.
Boy, that the ball boy down there is having a tough inning. That's the second ball that he's misplayed. I mean, if Cantu got an error for diving and missing the throw on his knees, that's got to be an error as well. Headed to Chicago. Hope you're with us. Our pregame starts at 7:30. First pitch, 8:05 Wrigley Field. Carlos Zambrano at 10-4 with a 2.98 ERA. And a kid that grew up in and around Wrigley Field, Scott Olson, going for the Marlins. Hanley strikes out on a ball in the dirt.
Hanley did not expect the breaking ball. Yeah, in game 2 of that series, Josh Johnson and Ryan Dempster, former Marlin, having a terrific year, an all-star year. Chris Volstad and Rich Harden in the Saturday game, and Sunday, Rick Vandenherk back out there against Jason Marquis.
Marlins saw Rich Harden back in June in Oakland. Harden went 5 2/3 innings, gave up just 1 run. That was a game that Oakland won in a walk-off fashion in the 11th.
You know, Harden's pitched 2 games, started 2 games for the Cubs. He's an 0.73 ERA, but he's 0-1. 20 strikeouts in 12 1/3 innings.
Yeah, the Cubs manager not all that pleased the other day with the bats of the Cubs.
The offense hasn't been producing. I guess they were pounding a lot of balls out of the ballpark in batting practice, and Lou said that's it. No more batting practice. I'm tired of seeing balls fly out of there in BP and nothing during the game. We're going to come out, stretch, and play.
There weren't a few salty words in there at all?
Well, I cleaned it up a little bit.
Was that a skyline on that guy's hat? Is that a there's a Marlin logo or a Marlin? I'm not sure. Is that a Miami skyline?
Right there looks like a Marlin logo.
Like to see a ballpark on that skyline.
Will Oman's come in and really just brought this game to a standstill. 28 pitches in this inning. Of course, 11 to Alfredo Amezaga. The Braves, no wonder. They have an off day tomorrow. They go to Philadelphia. They have Thursday off before a weekend series against the Phillies.
Will Oman finishes the 8th.
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise.
And Birmingham.
Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte and Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings Package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
Hey, what's your mojo?
We've got it working. If you've got Mojo, you know it. Check your local HD listings or go to mojohd.com to find out how to get Mojo in your area.
Exceptionally brewed for a taste that's pure Amsterdam. Amstel Light, one damn good beer.
I'm Kevin Gregg of the Florida Marlins, and I care. I don't chew, and I don't dip, and I don't smoke. Join us as we work towards our goal of a tobacco-free Florida. For information, visit tobaccofreeflorida.com.
It's the shutout series, or at least that's the way it feels. The Marlins, there's Alfredo Amezaga in center field. Let's get everybody in the right spots here first. Alfredo in center. Cody slides over to right. And Doug Wechter or Cole Hamels as a Brave. Breaking news. It's actually Doug Wechter. Teixeira.
Yeah, Teixeira hasn't had a whole lot of chances to do much. He's 0 for 1. He's walked 3 times.
There's Doug's numbers. And he misses inside. Teixeira, McCann, Francoeur. If you're a Braves fan and you just tuned in, you're thinking to yourself, all right, Braves up 9-0, 9th inning.
Everything's good.
But what you've missed are a couple of things. Chipper Jones injuring his hamstring, going across the bag at first, having to leave the game, and he was not walking comfortably. And then T.Hudson leaving after 6 innings with tightness in his elbow.
And pretty much cruising through 6 innings, 68 pitches.
Right. Amezaga with Gonzo, and Gonzo makes the catch. Teixeira's 0 for 2. Bobby Cox still had the catcher's mitt out. Marlins open play tied with the Mets for a game back in the East. And that is now going to, it's still bottom of the 8th. 6-3. Mets on top of Philadelphia. Shane Victorino, Jeff Jenkins homering for the Phillies. Jose Reyes with a 3-run shot, and the big homer for the Mets put him on top in the 6th. And I think I just saw a shot of Billy Wagner warming up. One pitch. That's inside. J.J. Hardy homering for Milwaukee's 1-0 lead in St. Louis in the 6th. High pop-up back behind the screen and out of play. The Cubs and Arizona are underway. Buddy Carlisle.
Yeah, the one pitcher that the Marlins will miss from the Cubs is pitching tonight. Ted Lilly, left-hander.
Doug Davis, Ted Lilly matchup.
You know, I think Maddox got another no decision today.
Yeah,
the Padres played a day game in Cincinnati. The Reds won the game 9-5.
And scored 3 in the 6th and 5 in the 7th. Adam Dunn's grand slam denied Maddox his first win since May 10th. Here are the standings in the National League East. And of course, the Marlins on the brink of dropping this ball game and going to 53-48. In the Central, the Brewers have come charging up and are within a game of the Cubs. If Milwaukee beat St. Louis and the Cubs were to fall to Arizona, the Cubs would have company in first when the Marlins arrive there tomorrow.
Well, a couple of divisions with the 3-team races. Not so in the West. Arizona and the Dodgers a game apart. Dodgers are in second place. Yeah, Adam Dunn with his 29th home run of the year.
That was a slam. Center field. Amezaga back. Alfredo is there and makes the catch. The Marlins are down 9.
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise.
And Birmingham.
Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte and Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings Package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
I am your idea. Color me. Get me noticed. Make me shout. And stand out. Give me Rico color that always works. I am your idea. Make me brighter. Make me shine. I am your idea. Get me in there. Make it happen. In flying colors. It's you and me, and here we go. With Rico.
Marlins baseball on FSM Florida brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. By Infinity, luxury and performance that stir the soul. By Corona, the official sponsor of the timeout. And by Advance Auto Parts, keep the wheels turning. 9-0. The Marlins were shut out in game 1. They did the shutting out last night, a 4-0 win. And another shutout going here. Buddy Carlisle will try to put the finishing touches on this one. Just 3 hits for the Marlins. Hanley Ramirez, Jorge Cantu with singles, Mike Jacobs with a double. This is Cantu.
You pointed it out. 9 hits for the Marlins in the series.
Yeah.
3-game series.
9 hits and 4 runs.
Look out, Jake. Boy, tighten up the belt. Isn't that the way Juan Encarnacion was hurt last year?
Yes.
And really it has taken away his career. Got hit in the eye, standing on deck.
With St. Louis, right? Mm-hmm. Ball into right field. And Cantu singles to open up the 9th inning. Just looking back at that Padre Reds summary, for Greg Maddux, he hasn't won since May 10th. He's gone 14 starts without a win. And the amazing thing is he's actually pitched pretty well during those 14 starts. He gave up 2 earned runs, 5 1/3 innings. And his bullpen coughed up a slew of runs. Jacobs fouls it back. Jake with a couple good swings tonight. He's 1 for 3. Double back in the 4th. Be nice to get his bat going. You know, the Marlin hitters headed to Wrigley Field this weekend. You would think conditions are pretty good for hitters.
Usually a better park to hit in the summertime.
Especially this late in the summertime.
Yeah, a lot of it depends on how the wind's blowing. A lot of it depends on how thick that infield grass is.
Oh, it'll be thick. You know, they have a new playing surface at Wrigley Field. They finally, during the offseason, plowed it under and eliminated the crown. They put a modern drainage system underneath it, so now it's more of a flat surface. It used to be a crown.
You could go back behind second base and first base into shallow right field, and you'd actually go down a little bit.
Marlins have a couple runners on. Nobody out here. Our Infinity Extraordinary play comes courtesy of Gregor Blanco.
Well, he's had a superb ball game. Little indecision there that could have figured quite large in this game. Blanco with his 3rd hit up the middle, and then capped it off with a triple and 2 RBIs in the 8th inning. A 4 for 4 night for Gregor Blanco.
Uggla fouls it back. Mets and Phillies are going to the 9th. And enter Billy Wagner, who was sorely missed last night. Uggla digging in. And he goes after a breaking ball, hits it out into center field. And Blanco makes the catch. Will the Marlins see the Cubs closer this weekend, or will it be Carlos Marmol closing for Kerry Wood?
Boy, tough series for Dan Uggla, 0 for 10, and we've talked about the struggles. 1 for 22 now since the All-Star break for Dan.
That's one of the things that Uggla's been able to avoid this year that plagued him last year.
Yeah, he had a few more of those slumps last year.
1-0 to Luis Gonzalez, who was 0 for 3. Gonzo trying to get back in the swing of things. Meanwhile, Milwaukee has added a run in the 6th and has a 2-0 lead over St. Louis.
Tell you what, CC Sabathia works fast and throws lots of strikes too.
Well, he's got a no-hitter through 5 innings. Strike to Gonzo. He's walked 1 in that ball game, so it's not a perfect game. Two and 2. And the Cubs did get a run in the 1st, a 1-0 lead in Arizona. D. Lee, his 16th. Derek Lee and the rest of the Cubs. It's a very potent lineup. It's a lineup that is waiting for Alfonso Soriano to get back.
I heard he was supposed to play tonight. We may check that if we have time. If he doesn't play tonight, I'm sure he'll be in there tomorrow night at Wrigley Field against the Marlins.
Our sources say he's 0 for 1 hitting leadoff.
So he is in there. And remember, they have Jim Edmonds, a veteran center fielder, along with the Ramos Ramirez and Derek Lee.
They had
Giovanni Soto.
They had what, 18 All-Stars?
Yeah, Giovanni Soto, an All-Star catcher.
Gonzo hits one to right and hits it pretty well and hits that one in the seats. Luis Gonzalez with a 3-run shot. His 352nd career home run.
Well, he moves out of a tie with Dick Allen and into a tie with Ellis Burks, 75th all-time. Home run number 352. Stayed right down on that ball. A lot of carry and good to see.
Well, last night it was a dramatic 3-run home run from Mike Jacobs that was one of the big difference makers. This a 3-run homer, but most of the drama in this one is gone. The Marlins down to their last 2 outs and down now by 6. There's that home run leaderboard. Lee May is next. He can, with his next home run, move into sole possession of 75th.
That's a pretty good name that he's tied with, a guy that you don't think about a whole lot when you think about home runs and all-time lists. Ellis Burks had a nice career. And had some big years with the Rockies.
Cody Ross, left center, gets into that one. It's deep. And that one is gone. It's a home run. Well, wait a minute. Ross thought it was gone. The second base umpire put his hands up. Dana DeMuth, he put one hand up, which is usually the signal for a home run. Freddie's looking.
Boy, it's out in that shadowy area at the 434 sign.
I watched.
Hey, Andy Fox is going out now. Andy Fox, he's getting something from Dana DeMuth.
Oh, it stays in.
Yeah, it stayed in. It just bounced and then caromed over by that batting cage.
I mean, in a case like that where it's close, you always look for the umpire, and an umpire immediately, if it's a home run, will put one hand up and circle the finger to say home run. If it's a double, 2 hands come up.
I think initially he may have thought it was, but then once upon further review in his head.
Oh, see, look, there, home run.
But that's not Dana DeMuth. See, now Dana DeMuth, who's at second base, has a little better angle. That was Lance Barksdale, who looked like he was waving home run, but Dana DeMuth came back and he had the better angle.
Well, Cody would rather side with the third base, so as it is, it's a double. Here's our Marooney call to the bullpen.
When you need a car, truck or van, who you gonna call?
One tribe. One land. One mission. For all people.
Do you rinse at night? A quick rinse with Listerine puts plaque and gingivitis germs to bed, giving you 12 hours of protection. So rinse under the stars and say goodnight to germs. Listerine.
Need a car? Truck? SUV? Take your click. Announcing the all-new Marooney.com. 33 Marooney showrooms just a click away. Get side-by-side comparisons. See your low online price. Even get the actual Kelley Blue Book value and a Carfax report. So, if you need a car, we've got 10,000 of them. The all-new Marooney.com.
Well, it's a 9-3 ball game with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Braves go deeper into the bullpen than they would have liked, though they do have the day off tomorrow. Mike Gonzalez is out there. And Gonzalez trying to slow the Marlins down, who have 3 runs and a Cody Ross double. And he comes in and throws 3 strikes to John Baker. And gets the second out of the 9th inning.
Didn't waste any time. Mike Gonzalez. Only 12 games. Lots of time on the disabled list, but good stuff.
Meziga goes after an inside pitch, pulls it down the line, and it's going to fall. A fair ball. Ross around third. He's going to score. Meziga's got an RBI single, and the Marlins make it 9-4. So no shutouts. That was over when Gonzo hit one in the seats for a 3-run shot. And Meziga scores Cody.
Alfredo broke his bat, but because he did so, number one, it stayed fair. It didn't hook. Infante didn't get much of a jump, and it was able to drop for a base hit and an RBI.
Hanley rips one down the line. Just foul. All of a sudden, the bats have come to life.
Now you just need to carry that over to Wrigley Field tomorrow night against a tough right-hander, Carlos Zambrano.
2 pieces of business here.
All right.
Sabathia lost his no-hitter in the bottom of the 6th. Milwaukee leads 2-0 over St. Louis. Check swing and a breaking ball, and they'll say he went around. First base umpire Ted Barrett wants to get home. And the other piece is the Mets beat the Phillies 6-3. That game is now a final. Gonzalez thought he had strike 3. One and 2. You can see why, when healthy, he is a very tough guy to hit. It's just keeping him healthy. That's been the tough part for the Braves. Hanley bangs that one into center field on the line and right at Blanco. Game over. Marlins put 4 on the board in the 9th, but it's not enough. Too big a hole to climb out of. And the Atlanta Braves beat the Marlins, take 2 of 3 from the Fish. The Marlins go 3-3 on the homestand, and it's on to Chicago. 9-4 is the final. Our post-game show coming up from Dolphin Stadium. We'll get you ready for the Cubs series. Take a peek back at this one. All of that next.